No relationship is all sunshine, but two people can share one umbrella and survive the storm together. No relationship is all sunshine, but two people can share one umbrella and survive the storm together. Now, this reminds me of the song, Under My Umbrella, Ella, eh, eh. Okay, fine. Rihanna there and Jay-Z, Under My Umbrella. But away from the song, it is so true. It's you waking up and choosing this person. Despite what life brings or serves you, then you decide that it's us against the world. They did a song about that as well. Okay, cool. Let's get into the very first conversation of the day. It's time for Relationship Circle. And it's Thursday morning, and Shazmeen Bank is in the building looking peng. She's looking fire. You look so good.
Thank you.
Cute. And the heels.
Thank you. Are you getting them?
How have you been? How's your week been?
It's been beautiful. It's been good. A little chilly, but then nice and hot and chilly, and yes.
It's a bit confusing. So it's very cold in the morning, then in the afternoon it gets extremely hot.
Yes, and then you leave in a sweater.
Yes.
And then you're really hot for
then
the
you'll
rest
have
of
to
the
find out where to put the sweater later on.
Yes.
And we thank God if you had something else where one inside that you can walk around with.
I was just going to say, yeah, sometimes no.
Today we're having a very interesting conversation, and just to give a background of this, a few weeks ago, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, we had a conversation with Dada Okello in the studio, and we got an SMS in where this lady was saying how she was in a relationship, and we were talking about how you know someone is really into you, and some of the things that came out is they will give you their time, that they will be giving in big, little, beautiful ways. They will be there for you. They will listen. They will be your friend. Now, this lady wrote to us and said that it's been 2 years of enjoying all of that, the perfect boyfriend, perfect man. And then after 2 years, the guy was like, I don't want to be in this anymore. It's not what I wanted from the beginning. I thought it was the one, but then it's not. So we're just going to be looking at how to tell that it's moving from one side to the other and what happens in between. Shaz, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
I'm excited. I'm honestly excited for this conversation, especially for people that are in relationships right now and they are, you look beautiful.
Thank you.
And they are wondering, you know, my relationship is not like it was in the beginning. We're not feeling as excited. We seem to have settled. And then there's the lure of something else outside of it that could be more exciting. Then you have couples that are questioning and have the fear of, okay, we've settled, we've been through the romance, we've been through the fights, and we seem to be okay, but what if? What if there could be someone else out there that could make me feel better? And I think subconsciously, I've seen so many people have that running in the background. It's like you consistently have this exit, and you have an exit strategy because so much is available to you now. You don't have to go far to get attention anymore from somebody. You just check your Facebook DMs, Instagram DMs, TikTok, WhatsApp. It's flooding. It's almost like competition is like at its worst.
Yeah.
Because somebody will know you're in a relationship, but they'll still try.
Yes.
And if you're in that part of your relationship and that DM comes in, it will trigger you to feel, wow, someone else can make me feel something. And so, you know, all these people in long-term relationships start to feel, could they be something else out there that's better? My relationship's changing. Is it for the better or is it not? And that's a big question I see so many people have.
Yeah.
That, do I have to settle? I never had to settle in the beginning. I look at my friends' relationships, most of which are new, and they are thriving. They're having fun. And we're like this old couple now. So the thing is, at what point does a relationship follow a beautiful evolution of settling beautifully? And you can appreciate where you are now. You've moved from the hyena giggles and being like bunnies to now feeling, okay, we can couple like penguins for life. And what comes with that? And I feel there's that lost gap in the market.
Yes.
Because right now everything is advertised as instantaneous fun, instantaneous passion, lust, chase it,
That is
go
what we
after it,
see,
right?
yeah.
And everything you see on the internet now is the minute there's this tiny red flag, leave. The minute there is a red flag, leave. I say other than if there's any form of abuse,
Yes.
then that should be dealt with. But everyone else now is in a place of, there are red flags, I should just leave. This relationship isn't working. It's moved past, how do I make it work? How did the red flags come? Is it something we can both work on? We're two different human beings. We've come from different traumas in our lives, in our childhoods. When we meet each other in the beginning, we don't exactly sit across somebody and say, what was your childhood trauma?
No.
What was your relationship with your mom and dad? How did that relationship make you feel? We're both, you know, coming in with fill me so much, fill till my cup overflows. But then the minute you stop, something's wrong with you. It's not just our relationships finding a balance. So I want to tell couples that are in this space, it's very different when someone decides, I don't want to be in a relationship anymore. And it's very different to, our relationship is changing, what do I do? Is it normal? Is it okay? So what are some of the normal signs of changes in a relationship? The normal signs would be the intimacy will change 100%. It won't be as frequent. Needs could develop that are different. That's normal. It's workable because life comes in the way of just so many different things happening. What's not normal is your partner suddenly deciding they do not want to sleep with you. And there's no underlying medical condition that could solve that problem. But then you're finding texts in the phone, a difference in behavior, someone coming home way more later than they should. So you've got to be able to start looking for what's a normal change. And I know so many people in relationships are like, I don't want normal. I want exciting. I want ecstatic. But the maturity that comes with choosing to be in a relationship means normal is the new beautiful. Normal means you get to settle. Normal means you found somebody that shouldn't have the pressure of having to be your best friend, but can be your best friend. Which means this whole one person doesn't become your village. This one person is not the person that fulfills you, you fight with, is your best friend, does everything that you've not thought about for yourself, but they should be thinking about for you while they're still trying to figure out life for themselves. So I always tell people, take the village out of the one person. Take the pressure off that one person. Give them space to evolve and breathe while you have space to evolve and breathe as well. So normal would be the changes in intimacy. Not normal is a sudden stop. So you want to question, why has that happened? Was there a change between you and I? Are we fighting too frequently? Could it be that you're way more stressed? Because stress just kills desire. So you want to first see, how do we work through the first challenge, the first change that's coming? Because a lot of people would be like, he's not being intimate, she's not being intimate, somebody else wants to be with me, I'm out of here.
So without finding out what the problem is.
It's like relationships have become so porous. It's just so easy to exit, because I'll exit just before you hurt me, just before you break me.
That means even when
I will leave.
I got in
with one foot out the door. And the one foot out the door is, I will rely on you to completely fulfill me. And when you stop doing the duty of making me happy,
then I step out.
Right.
There's a meme that has been going around, not this year, for a couple of years now, where it shows two very old couple that is answering a young couple. And the question is, why are you guys together? Why have you been together for this long? And the reply from the couple is, because we loved each other at a time. Instead of throwing away broken things, we used to fix them. We didn't give up as easily as you people are doing now. So that is what we're doing. And it's looking at what else is there. How else can I get filled up? And if it's not a person, probably it's a thing.
Right. But where evolution of relationships have changed. If I was to just simply even look at the 20-year relationship I've had with my husband, we could have quit a year ago. And we could have quit the year before that and the year before that, like every other relationship, because every single year will have a new challenge that comes in. but you face it, you work it. Now it's no longer, okay, we just need to feel lust. Now it's, how do we make sure the other person's okay? How do we make sure we wake up and we feel beautiful? How do we leave the house and you know I have your back and I have your back? It's now finding the little things about a relationship and how to turn what you can perceive as consistently seeing negative as changing and reframing it to see beautifully. I'll give you an actual example.
Okay.
I had a couple that came in probably about a month ago, and the wife was completely frustrated. They were in a really, really negative place, and obviously it was like, here we are, we're the problem, fix it. And I asked her, give me an example of something that consistently irritates you. You know, where have you both reached in the relationship? And she says, you know, sometimes I just see him and he's getting ready for work and he's gone down and he's eaten and the tie is, you know, all askew. He's not bothered to put his button together, and it's always my job to have to make sure he's perfect. And then he has breakfast and there's food in his clothes and sometimes in his beard. And can't he just be neat? Can't I just look at him and feel he's you know, attractive and he takes care of himself? And I said, that's a beautiful problem to have. And she was highly charged and she's like, how's that a beautiful problem? That's one of the problems. Every time I see him, everything's irritating. And I said, right, now let's take one scenario and say, what if it was a beautiful moment that he doesn't know how to put his tie perfect? That before he leaves the house, that is your honor, that you get few moments with him to fix his tie, and you could look in his eyes, and then you'd notice food in his beard, and you could laugh and say, you are such a silly man. What would you do without me? And you take the food out of his beard. What would life be like on that side of everything? And so I had to have her sit with the thought while I talked to the husband about something else. And then I went back to her and she said, it would be more calm. Yeah. And I said, right, what would be below calm? She's like, it'd be peaceful. And I said, and below that? She's like, I'd be happier. And I said, below that? She's like, it'd be loving. And I said, we are so conditioned at some point in a relationship to see everything that is so wrong. But what if something starts to irritate you, but you turn it to see, how's this moment working for us? How can I make the moment work for me? How could I feel beautiful in this moment? So I also had the same experience before, which was, you know, I was a little stressed with my husband with his health. And so for a period I realized, you know, he moved into, you're nagging me about food. And I was like, oh, I'm not the nag. But then I learned that what if I've been given the grace to take care of you? To remind you every day to have your pills is not an irritation, but that's my honor because I get to love you and take care of you. And I get to make sure I can take them out. And I'm the person that does that for you. And you know that. You know my wife takes out my pills and she loves me. What if now a relationship from the beginning now becomes how you make and look for the beauty in it? Because if I was to sit and ask any couple that has been together longer than 2 years, what's wrong? You will not be able to stop with the list. You will not be able to even remember what's right, even though what's right has happened during the week. You're so overwhelmed by what someone is no longer doing, and you trigger the mind that the minute you see them, you see wrong.
Okay. Shaz, you're putting us in a spot here. And I'm just going to throw it out to you guys. What are some of the things that irritate you? What are you seeing that you're like, I cannot take it anymore? Or you experienced it before. That's the reason why your relationship ended. And listening to this conversation today, you're just like, oh, okay. How did you know that your relationship has moved from a very healthy space to a very unhealthy one as well? What are your experiences? Please share those with us. 111 444 111. If you have any questions whatsoever, Shazmeen Bank will be here to answer all of them for you. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Full Circle with Mikali. A very good morning to you. How are you doing? Where you tuned in from? 111 That is our SMS line. I already see your SMSs coming in. So we'll be looking at your questions in just a bit. We're talking about the telltale signs that your relationship is changing, and what direction is it changing from? What are you seeing? What are your experiences with that? How do you know that this is the time to step out or give it another chance? So send in your questions, share your stories with us as we continue with this conversation with Shazmin. So clearly we've been told the things that we are looking at that are irritating us, we should try and look at them differently now and be like, what would it be like if I looked at it in a positive way? Instead of, you're constantly irritating me, I don't want to see you, you're making me angry, and I'm very unhappy. Whew.
But the other things to note, when you're in a relationship is you have to be careful of sometimes the natural fallout, but you both still do love each other. And then it's a simple communication, or sometimes even 6 to 7 times of communication. I know so many things out there say you should be able to just talk and things get sorted. Sometimes it really isn't that simple. Sometimes you have to talk a couple of times. But in the couple of times, it's being able to see the willingness from two people who want to work it. So when things are one-sided for a very long time, maybe he keeps bringing up the conversation, look, I'm seeing we've changed, the relationship's moving in a way that's, a bit toxic or is not doing so well. And the other person doesn't want to reciprocate, they don't want to listen, they don't want to put the input back in, or they'll hear it and say, yes, I'll change. And no change is coming. Now, those are some of the things you have to consider when you're in a relationship to where is this going? Can this last? You also want to consider the minute someone is behaving controlling. So you both started really beautifully, you start well, but now their behavior is changing in a way that's making you feel stifled. Or you wake up every day feeling, I'm truly unhappy. Now, when I tell couples that, I say, really think about it. Don't think about, I wake up unhappy because you're not doing this whole list, my wish list. Are you truly unhappy because they are being controlling? There probably is abuse, and it doesn't have to be physical.
That's true.
There is high levels of emotional and verbal and mental abuse. This person is just not willing to make it work with you. They won't hear you. They just do not see you. Their friends or their hobbies take a way bigger priority, despite you saying, we need more time together, this relationship's falling apart, please work with me. They rather be with the drinking buddies than spend time with you. They come home, they're drunk. It's not about you, it's not about the children, it's not about making the relationship work at all. So you've got to be able to put into motion when you wake up and say, I'm not feeling something is right. Break it down to say why. Is it that I want more and my partner is willing to do it, but it's just not at the rate I would like it to go at? Or is it because my partner is completely stagnant with where they are and I want more? I want more beautifully out of a relationship. And I've genuinely tried, and I've given this relationship everything I can. Because I feel wanting to walk out and break out. Right now, someone could hear and say, yeah, I wake up unhappy, I sleep unhappy, I'm miserable during the day, but think about it. Really take a minute to break down, not because Shazmin said, but what's the truth about my unhappiness? Is it, first of all, coming from me? Then, before I go and blame my partner, is it something we've really sincerely tried to work on? And we both reach a place where we broke up a while ago, but we're still together. And now it's just a matter of, look, I've changed so much and you've changed so much. Our goals don't align, our visions don't align, and it seems like we both are taking on different values right now. What does that mean for our future together? Because when you're looking at building a future together, a lot of people in the beginning don't realize the values you come in with. They'll metamorphosize, they'll change as you grow. But they're key and fundamental to how long you two can last and how things will work. If you both value trust, being honest, you're both godly, you're fearful of, my relationship should always come first. No matter what comes through in life, you will both find a way that these values take us through everything life is going to throw at us. Because it will. There are going to be times you should be doing things as a couple, but stuff just happens. It comes up in life. And it needs both of you to have thicker skin before you blame, before you react, to think about, okay, why did this change happen this week? What was my role in it? How did I behave? And a lot of times I have some women that come and say, but I feel the whole burden is on me. I feel I'm the one that has to make all the change all the time. And I say, but is he willing? Does he go along with the change? And she'd be like, yes, but I don't want to be the one doing it all the time. And I'm like, but what if you're the powerful one that has that side of your brain consistently working to think of how your relationship can work versus him? But he's willing to come because his brain might think of financially how other things can work. So you have the time to be like, I'd like our relationship to go here. I'd like us to have a better vision. You're willing to come aboard? Great. This whole, you should think it, you should know it, it should just be purely equal. I'm bringing 50, you should bring 50. It doesn't work. Real relationships, sometimes you are bringing 70 and you're doing that for 6 months. And you're allowing them room to come back to where they need to be. And now they'll bring the 70 while you take a bit of a break. But your relationship's all about how do we balance? How do we balance you never feeling like you're not number one? And the minute you feel like you're not number one, my world pauses for me to think about how did I do that while you pause to think about how am I also doing that?
Okay.
So it has to be two ways before you decide all of these reasons, all the typical red flag reasons we keep seeing out there are the reason I should leave.
So instead of first instinct being you did this, blaming you, it's just taking time to understand what was my role in this. What am I feeling? Did I do my part? So if it feels it's probably because I did not do something that I was required to do, or probably I feel like I'm overdoing it. But then you are telling us that probably we have a superpower to keep overdoing it. Trust me.
I see more women are, because they're more empathetic, they're more emotional, they're more aware of what they would want consistently in a relationship. They tend to be more of the givers. In a toxic relationship, that's wrong. In a beautiful relationship, there's nothing wrong with it. Because you get a chance to beautifully educate your spouse on, come to this side. This side of our relationship can be more beautiful. It's just the same thing with my husband. Everything over the years that I kept learning in a relationship, I never halted to say, learn it yourself, go out and study, you should know this. It was, here, let's learn this together. And though I might get it faster and better, it's okay if you don't. But it's fun to work it together. But it shouldn't be, I've got it now, this is what I want now, you're not bringing it to the table, I'm frustrated, it's over. Okay. And that's what's happening now.
That's true.
But it's very different from the question we began with, which is someone's in this relationship and they get blindsided with, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. Because when did that person check out? You need to go back and look at what were the telltale signs that in my mind I saw, but I didn't want to deal with. I thought I could just keep throwing paint at the canvas and it'll just look prettier. You know, and a phase I use with women is you know the relationship's coming to this end, but you just keep throwing lingerie at the problem. You keep diluting, thinking that if we're more intimate, if we go back to typically how it was without solving what's going on, what's led us here, everything will go away. We'll go back to normal. We'll go back to the beginning. But you never want to go back to the beginning because now where you are is possibly better to take you through to the end. The beginning's the rockiest phase. The beginning's the scariest phase. Yes, it has the lust and dopamine in your brain and serotonin all over your body and you're tingling, yes, but it can be recreated later. But that's still the scariest place. You still need to have your first couple of major rocky fights to know, will we make this work or will we not?
Okay.
And I say when you're in the middle, when you're settling, when you've hit stability, but you're in a place of, okay, what else can we add now? What juice can we bring to make this relationship work? That's where a lot of couples go, it's not working, it's time to leave.
Charlotte, what about a situation where going to the point where you need to keep giving or understanding or being probably having the superpower, as you call it, to be able to carry the relationship? What if the other person is not able to see the weight that you are carrying? Or probably they see it, but then they're not willing to have a conversation around you are being, you're heavy laden and you need help, or you don't seem okay nowadays, you don't smile as much as you used to do. So if they say these things and do not want to speak about them, then that's just different.
So you see, the important thing that I tell women is, if you don't voice it, if you don't say it, he will never know. And you're not going to have to say this once. You are going to have to say this multiple times, which means sometimes also your actions will naturally change. So it doesn't mean I'm going to take the whole burden of this relationship and I'm going to wait until you come on board. There's a very big difference with someone who sees the relationship's changing. I should come on board with you. I might just be having a harder time doing that. So if you have the patience to help me get there, great. Which is very different from women who, or even men who want the relationship to work, are holding fort, are caving under the weight of the burden of everything falls on me, with a partner who just does not care, who doesn't see it. So you need to be super aware of, is my partner aware of, because I voiced it, I've probably withdrawn, which is very normal for a lot of people. I've withdrawn love in certain ways. I'll show them I'm upset. I let them know, but they don't care. It's not triggering them enough to change. Maybe because whatever else they're doing outside the relationship fills them and they feel, you'll never leave, where will you go? And that's why when so many people tell me, are you pro-separation? I always say, I'm never pro-divorce unless it has to reach there. But the benefits, yes, of separation and giving people a chance to come back when they reflect and they think, I think that's sometimes more beautiful than just ending something that has been long-term and now just needs the two of you to come back to the root of, okay, I've not ever dealt with me, you've not ever dealt with you. And that's what you find a lot in coaching, is couples come in together, but then at some point you realize they have to separate, and it's not separating for you to just work on the relationship with the other person. It's separating to go deep down inside to see what's going on with you as an individual. Because both of us are growing. We're always going to grow. But as I'm growing and you're growing, is the relationship outgrowing each other, or are we keeping each other in check? So that I want to always maintain how beautiful as an individual I am. I never want to lose that about me. And you should never lose that about you. But then we have another entity, which is the two of us. Are we filling that and helping that rise at the same time? So it's people in a relationship right now sitting saying, maybe I should take the burden. No, not if the person next to you does not care. Not if the person next to you doesn't stop to see you are crying, you're getting depressed, you've withdrawn from people. You can't pretty much even look society in the eyes because you feel they'll see what I'm hiding deep down inside versus what I have to show on Instagram or at work. There's a big difference with the deep unhappiness and you knowing it's not coming from any other area of my life. It's not coming from deep within me. The source truly of unhappiness is this relationship. And then it's okay to gently let that go.
Okay. How did you know that he's moved on? How did you know that she's no longer a part of this relationship? How did you know that this is not going to work because of whatever reasons that you are going through? Are you in a confused state of not knowing, do I continue fighting for this? Do I give up on this? What should I do? Share your stories, your questions with us, your comments as well. 111-444-111. We're here for it all because Shazmin is not going out of the studio until she answers all of your questions after this very short break.